morning of June 6, 1944. Omaha Beach, Normandy. The Atlantic was rough and freezing that day. Choppy waves slammed against the Higgins boats as they carried thousands of American soldiers toward the shore. Everyone knew what was waiting: the heavily fortified Atlantic wall that Field Marshal Ursin Rommel had built to stop them right at the water's edge. Rommel himself had warned his officers the first 24 hours of any invasion would be decisive. For both sides, it would be the longest day. Bloody Omaha. That's what they called it afterward, and for good reason. As the ramps dropped and men waded into chest-deep water, German machine guns, mortars, and artillery opened up from concrete bunkers perched on the bluffs above. The beach was a killing zone. Mines, barbed wire, steel obstacles everywhere. Many landing craft had drifted off course in the current, so troops hit the shore, scattered and disorganized. Dozens of amphibious tanks sank before they could even fire a shot. Hundreds of guys never made it out of the surf. Some drowned under the weight of their gear. Others were cut down the moment they stepped into the open. The water turned red. The first waves took devastating losses. Estimates put American casualties on Omaha that day at around 2,400, killed, wounded, and missing, the highest of any D-Day beach. But they didn't break. Small groups of survivors, exhausted, terrified, leaderless at first, started moving forward. They used the shingle bank for whatever cover it offered, crawled up the bluffs between the strongest German positions, and took out pillboxes one by one with grenades, satchel charges, and sheer guts. One of the most famous moments came from Colonel George Taylor of the 16th Infantry Regiment. Seeing his men pinned down, he stood up and shouted something like, "Two kinds of people are staying on this beach, the dead and those who are going to die. Now let's get the hell out of here." Another officer reportedly rallied his troops with, "Are you going to lay there and get killed or get up and do something about it?" And then there was Brigadier General Norman Cota, who strode across the beach under fire, barking at stunned soldiers, "Gentlemen, we are being killed on the beaches. Let us go inland and be killed." He even turned to some Rangers and said, "Well, God damn it then, Rangers, lead the way," a line that became their motto. By the end of the day, about 34,000 Americans had made it ashore on Omaha. They gained small footholds inland, sometimes just a mile or two, but it was enough. The German 352nd Division, which had fought fiercely, suffered around 1,200 casualties and had no real reserves left to push them back into the sea. The bunkers and gun emplacements are still there today, silent reminders along the cliffs of Omaha beachhead. And that massive PK-43 anti-tank gun the Germans had, it could punch through a tank from over 3 kilometers away. Terrifying power, but ultimately not enough against the tide of men who refused to quit. Omaha wasn't just a battle for a stretch of sand. It was the moment the Allies cracked open Hitler's fortress Europe. What happened there? The courage, the sacrifice, the refusal to give up helped turn the tide of the entire war. The blood on that beach taught a hard lesson. Even the strongest defenses can fall when people decide they're going forward, no matter the cost. Next time, we'll talk about Operation Market Garden, the bold airborne gamble that aimed to end the war by Christmas, but turned into something very different.